Ballet is useless. Go do the dishes. The words stung like shards of glass as they left my father's mouth, his eyes never leaving my nephew's football trophy. My 15-year-old daughter Lily stood frozen in her practice leotard, tears welling but refusing to fall. I knew that look. I'd worn it myself at her age, the day my father had thrown away my own ballet shoes. My mother touched my arm gently, her eyes pleading silently. Don't make a scene. Keep the peace. Like she'd done her entire life. The recital is tonight, I reminded them, my voice steadier than my racing heart. Lily's been practicing for months. My father waved dismissively. Tyler has football practice. That's more important than some silly dancing. Right, son? He clapped my brother's shoulder as Tyler beamed. I watched my daughter disappear into the kitchen, the sound of running water and clinking dishes drifting out moments later. Something inside me, dormant for decades, suddenly awoke. My brother Victor smirked. Well, at least she's learning something useful. I walked into the kitchen, where Lily scrubbed dishes, her shoulders hunched, ballet slippers still on her feet. On the counter lay a brand new, expensive football jersey, a gift for Tyler. For a moment, I saw myself at 15, dreams crushed, talent dismissed. I gently took the sponge from her trembling hands. Get your bag, I whispered. We're leaving. Little did I know that 10 years later, a single phone call would change everything. 3 months earlier. That spring afternoon started like any other. I watched Lily practice her pirouettes in our small living room, her form nearly perfect despite the cramped space. At 15, she already showed more promise than I ever had. Mom, do you think Grandpa will come to my recital this time? Lily asked, her voice betraying the hope she couldn't hide. My heart clenched. I don't know, sweetie. I paused, searching for words that wouldn't hurt. He's not always good at appreciating certain things. What I didn't say was how my father had crushed my own ballet dreams years ago. How he'd called it frivolous, impractical, a waste of time for a girl who should be learning to keep house. Madame Josephine says I might qualify for the summer intensive program, Lily continued, executing a flawless arabesque. She says I have real potential. Pride swelled in my chest. That's wonderful. When's the audition? Next month. But. She hesitated, lowering her leg. It costs money. Money was always tight since the divorce. As a university sports department administrator, I made enough for us to get by, but extras like intensive ballet programs were a stretch. We'll figure it out, I promised. Your talent deserves to be nurtured. Later that week, we visited my parents for the monthly family dinner, a tradition I maintained more for my mother's sake than anything else. My younger brother Victor would be there with his son Tyler, the golden child of the family. As we pulled into the driveway, I gave Lily's hand a squeeze. Remember, whatever happens in there, your dancing matters. You matter. My mother greeted us with warm hugs. At 72, Eleanor Garcia still moved with grace, though years of deferring to my father had left invisible marks. Grandma, I brought my new point shoes to show you, Lily whispered excitedly. My mother's eyes lit up, then darted nervously toward the living room where my father sat watching TV. Maybe later, dear, she murmured. The house smelled of my mother's enchiladas, my father's favorite. Howard Garcia, retired military and former high school football coach, barely looked up when we entered. You're late, he grunted. Traffic, I replied simply, unwilling to start an argument so soon. Then the front door burst open, and Victor strode in with 8-year-old Tyler. My father immediately perked up. There's my star quarterback. Howard boomed, rising from his chair with renewed energy. Come tell your grandpa about practice. Tyler ran to him, football in hand, while Victor shot me a smug look. At 38, my brother had followed in our father's footsteps, becoming a high school football coach after his own athletic career fizzled. Tyler scored 3 touchdowns in practice today, Victor announced proudly. Coach says he's a natural, just like his old man. My father beamed. That's what I like to hear. Real achievement, not just prancing around. I felt Lily stiffen beside me, the pink bag containing her point shoes clutched tightly in her hands. During dinner, the conversation revolved entirely around Tyler's football prowess and Victor's coaching strategies. Each time Lily tried to mention her upcoming recital, someone, usually my father or brother, would talk over her. Finally, as my mother served dessert, Lily spoke up during a rare moment of silence. I have a ballet recital tonight. I'm dancing the lead in our studio's spring showcase. Her voice was small but determined. The silence stretched uncomfortably until my father snorted. Tonight? We're watching Tyler's practice. The boy needs his family's support if he's going to make it to the big leagues someday. But Dad, I interjected, Lily's been practicing for months. Couldn't we at least split up? Maybe Mom and I could go to the recital, and you and Victor attend the practice? My father's expression hardened. Ballet is just a hobby, Irene. It won't put food on the table or build character like real sports do. That's not fair, I countered, years of suppressed anger bubbling to the surface. Lily works just as hard as Tyler does. Ballet requires incredible strength and discipline. Discipline? Victor laughed. Twirling around in tutus isn't discipline. Lily's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them away quickly. Why don't you help your grandmother clear the table, Lily? My father said dismissively. Tyler, come show me that new passing technique. As Tyler eagerly followed my father into the living room, Lily silently began collecting plates. I moved to help her, but my mother shook her head slightly, her eyes conveying a lifetime of silent resignation. In the kitchen, I found Lily mechanically scraping leftovers into the trash, a single tear sliding down her cheek. They're never going to see me, are they? She whispered. Not really. I pulled her into a hug, my own childhood wounds reopening. But I see you, Lily. I've always seen you. And tonight, everyone at that recital will see exactly how talented you are. From the living room came cheers and laughter as Tyler demonstrated his football skills. Through the doorway, I glimpsed my father and brother high-fiving, their faces alight with shared joy. The contrast was stark and painfully familiar. How many times had my own achievements been overlooked in favor of Victor's athletic prowess? How many times had my mother silently accepted the inequality, choosing peace over fairness? As we drove to the recital that evening, Lily was unusually quiet. They're not coming, are they? She finally asked. No, sweetie. I'm sorry. She nodded, resignation beyond her years etching her young face. It's okay. I'm used to it. But it wasn't okay. None of it was okay. And as I watched my daughter transform on stage that night, her body telling stories through movement that words could never express, something shifted inside me. This talent and this passion deserved to be nurtured, not dismissed. And I'd be damned if I let my father crush her spirit the way he'd crushed mine. After the recital. You were magnificent, I whispered to Lily as we drove back to my parents' house. The memory of her perfect performance still lingering like the echo of applause. When we arrived, football highlights blared from the TV. My father and Victor analyzed plays while my mother served snacks. Tyler sat proudly with new cleats beside him. Lily stood in the doorway in her recital outfit, invisible to them all. How was the dance thing? My father finally asked, eyes never leaving the screen. Lily was the lead tonight, I said. Standing ovation. That's nice, he muttered. Lily, you'll have to wash the dishes in the sink. Something inside me snapped. The same something that had broken years ago when he'd thrown my own point shoes in the trash. She just performed for 2 hours, I said, my voice low. She's not doing dishes. In this house, everyone contributes, my father replied. What's Lily contributing with her twirling? I watched my daughter's shoulders slump under the familiar weight of disapproval. She's contributing beauty and art, I said. But you wouldn't understand that. My father turned to face me. You're filling her head with the same impractical nonsense that nearly ruined you. If I hadn't stopped your dancing. Stopped it. The words burst out. You threw away my pointe shoes and crushed my dreams. Now you're doing the same to Lily. I'm protecting her from disappointment. No. You're forcing her into your narrow little box of what matters. My mother stepped between us. Please, don't argue. No, Mom, I said firmly. This has gone on too long. I watched you silence yourself my entire childhood. I won't do that anymore, and I won't let Lily do it either. Victor stood. You're overreacting. Am I? The only achievements that matter in this house are ones with a scoreboard attached. My father pointed toward the door. That's enough. I looked at Lily's tears and knew what I had to do. Get your things, I told her softly. All of them. We're not coming back. Irene. My mother gasped. You don't mean that. I do, I said with sudden clarity. I spent my life trying to earn approval that was never going to come. Lily won't waste hers doing the same. As we headed for the door, my father found his voice. If you leave like this, don't expect to be welcomed back. I met his gaze. I stopped expecting that a long time ago. That night, our apartment felt different. Lighter somehow. Are we really never going back? Lily asked as we shared ice cream. I looked at my talented daughter and saw myself at 15, except her story would be different. Not until they're ready to see you, really see you. And respect what you love. 2 weeks later, Madame Josephine pulled me aside. Your daughter has exceptional talent. With proper training, she could have a real future in ballet. Hope and fear collided in my chest. Professional ballet is expensive. There are scholarships, she replied. Let me help. That conversation changed everything. I worked overtime while Lily trained relentlessly. Our living room became a dance studio with a bar along one wall. My mother called occasionally, never mentioning my father. Once, she sent money for new dance shoes with a note, chase your dreams. Love, Grandma. On difficult days when money was tight or Lily's muscles ached, I'd remind myself we were breaking a cycle. That walking away had been an act of courage, not cowardice. When Lily was 17, a physical therapist treating a minor injury noticed something. You understand body mechanics like few patients do, she told Lily. Many dancers make excellent physical therapists. Your ballet training gives you unique insight. I watched something awaken in my daughter, a new possibility taking shape. At 18, faced with both a dance scholarship and acceptance to a sports medicine program, Lily looked to me. What should I do, Mom? What do you want? I want to dance, she said. But I also want to help others understand their bodies the way ballet taught me. Then find a way to do both. She did. Lily double majored in dance and pre-physical therapy, performing while studying rehabilitation science. My mother visited occasionally, always when Howard was elsewhere. Watching Lily demonstrate a technique she'd developed, my mother took my hand. I should have stood up for you, she whispered, tears in her eyes. It's never too late to find your voice, Mom. As Lily grew into a confident young woman combining art with science, I felt a sense of triumph. We'd chosen a harder path, but the right one. We'd broken free. Then one day, the phone rang with a call that would pull us back into the world we'd left behind. 10 years later. Dr. Garcia, they're ready for you. I gathered my notes and headed to present our department's research on injury prevention. At 45, I was now Director of Athletic Performance Studies, no longer the woman desperately seeking her father's approval. My phone lit up with Lily's texts. Journal of Sports Medicine accepted my paper. NFL team interested in ballet therapy program. At 25, my daughter had transformed what my father once called useless twirling into groundbreaking sports medicine. Her ballet therapy program was revolutionizing athletic rehabilitation. Mom, she exclaimed when I called. The 49ers want to implement my program. That's amazing. There's more, she paused. Tyler's on the team. My nephew. The golden boy. Now an NFL quarterback. The decade since we'd left had been good to us. I'd earned my doctorate. Lily had combined her ballet talent with medicine. We seldom discussed my family, though my mother called occasionally with carefully edited conversations. Are you okay with this? I asked about the NFL opportunity. Part of me wants to prove them wrong, Lily admitted. Show Grandpa that ballet isn't useless. But another part doesn't want to open old wounds. 3 days later, my phone rang with an unfamiliar number. Irene. My mother's voice, tense and strained. Mom? Is everything okay? It's your father. He had a heart attack yesterday. My heart stuttered. Despite everything, he was still my father. He's asking about you. And Lily, she continued. I think he regrets many things. I'll talk to Lily, I said carefully. But I can't promise anything. That same week, another call came from Dr. Marcus Wynn, head of a sports medicine clinic. We've taken on a high-profile quarterback with a complex shoulder injury. Conventional therapy isn't working, and surgery carries too many risks. I've heard Dr. Lillian Garcia is the best for these cases. This quarterback, would his name happen to be Tyler Garcia? A surprised pause. Yes, actually. Do you know him? He's my nephew. That evening, I showed Lily the injury reports Dr. Wynn had sent. This is serious, she said, examining the x-rays. If he continues without proper rehabilitation, he could lose all mobility in that shoulder. Can your methods help? She nodded. Possibly better than anything else available. But it's Tyler. Our Tyler. It's your decision, I said. No one would blame you for referring him elsewhere. Her phone buzzed with a text. Her face paled. It's from Grandma. Grandpa had another episode. They're not sure he's going to make it. She looked up, tears in her eyes. Mom, I think we need to go home. Home. A word we hadn't associated with my parents' house in a decade. As we packed overnight bags, I wondered what awaited us. Whether time had softened my father's rigid beliefs. Whether my brother still carried his competitive edge. Most of all, I wondered if we were strong enough now to face them without being diminished. The past was calling us back. But this time, we weren't returning as the ones who needed approval. This time, we held the power to heal. The hospital corridor stretched ahead of us. My mother waited by the elevator, a decade older but instantly recognizable. Her face lit up, then crumpled with emotion. Irene. Lily. She embraced us both. Thank you for coming. How is he? I asked, surprised by my own concern. Stable for now. Victor's with him. She stopped as a tall figure rounded the corner. My brother. Thinner than I remembered, with streaks of gray at his temples. The cocky grin was gone, replaced by something harder. Irene. His voice was flat. His eyes moved to Lily, widening slightly. Is that Lily? My daughter stood straight, professional in her tailored pantsuit, nothing like the tearful teenager who'd left a decade ago. In the cafeteria, Victor stared into his untouched coffee. Tyler's injury is worse than the team is admitting publicly. His career could be over before it really starts. I'm sorry to hear that, I said carefully. Dr. Wynn mentioned Lily might be able to help. Victor's head snapped up. You've spoken to Wynn? He called us, Lily explained. I specialize in rehabilitation techniques for injuries like Tyler's. Victor stared at her. The ballet thing, he said finally. You kept with it. In a way, Lily replied. I combined it with physical therapy. A commotion erupted across the cafeteria. A tall young man in a sling was trying to avoid people with phones. That's Tyler, Victor muttered, standing quickly. The press found out he's here. Victor rushed over to help. They were nearly at the exit when Tyler spotted us. Recognition flashed across his face, followed by confusion. After a word with Victor, he headed toward our table. "Aunt Irene," he said hesitantly. "And Lily?" Lily nodded, professional mask firmly in place. "Hello, Tyler." He shifted awkwardly, wincing. "Dad said you're some kind of specialist now? For sports injuries?" "I've developed rehabilitation techniques for athletes, yes." Hope flickered across his face. Would you help me? The team doctors say I need surgery, but that means missing the entire season, maybe longer. Before Lily could respond, a nurse appeared. "Mr. Garcia? Your grandfather is awake and asking for you." "Go," Lily said. "We can talk later." 10 minutes later, we stood outside my father's room. Through the window, I could see him, Howard Garcia, once formidable, now diminished in his hospital bed. "I'm not sure I can do this," Lily whispered. I squeezed her hand. "Remember who you are now. Not who they made you feel you were." We entered the room. My father's eyes fixed on us immediately. "Irene." "Lily," his voice was weaker than I remembered. "You came." Tyler stood to leave, but my father stopped him. "Stay, son. This concerns you too." "I understand you're a doctor now, Lily." "For athletes." Lily nodded cautiously. "And they say you might be able to help Tyler. Without surgery." "Possibly. I'd need to conduct a proper assessment." "Your ballet. That's part of it." The question hung in the air, heavy with decades of dismissal. "Yes," Lily said, her voice gaining strength. "The techniques I've developed incorporate elements of ballet. The body awareness, the precise control, they're invaluable for rehabilitation." My father closed his eyes briefly. When he opened them, they were bright with unshed tears. I was wrong. The words stunned the room into silence. All those years, I thought I knew what was valuable. What was worth pursuing. He looked at Tyler. Sports made sense to me. Art, ballet. I didn't understand it. He turned to Lily. "But look at you now. Using what I called useless to help athletes like Tyler." His gaze shifted to me. "I'm sorry, Irene. For throwing away your shoes. For making you choose. For being too stubborn to see what was right in front of me." "Dad," I finally managed, my voice thick. "It's been 10 years. Too long," he acknowledged. "But not too late, I hope." Tyler broke the silence. "I didn't know about what happened. Why you both left." Dad never really explained. "It wasn't your fault," Lily told him. "You were just a kid." My father reached for my hand with effort. I hesitated, then let him take it. "The doctors say this might be it for me, Irene. I don't want to go without making things right." Later, in the hospital corridor, Lily and I found a quiet corner to talk. "What are you thinking?" I asked. She sighed. "I'm thinking about that little girl washing dishes while everyone fawned over Tyler's football trophies. About how much that hurt." I nodded. And I'm thinking about Tyler now, with an injury that could end everything he's worked for. I can help him, Mom. I know I can. Are you sure that's what you want?" "Want?" She gave a small, sad laugh. "I don't know what I want. But I know what's right." The next day, Lily met with Tyler and his team doctors. I sat with my father. "She's extraordinary, your daughter," my father said. "You did that. You gave her what I tried to take away." "She did it herself," I corrected him. "I just didn't stand in her way." He nodded slowly. "That's the difference between us. I always thought good parenting meant directing. You understood it meant supporting." It wasn't easy, walking away, I admitted. But staying would have broken her spirit. Like I broke yours. The blunt acknowledgement surprised me. You didn't break me, Dad. You just delayed me. My phone buzzed with a text from Lily, initial assessment complete. Tyler's injury is workable. Starting first session today. P.S. Tell Grandpa I'm using useless ballet to save his football star. I showed my father the message. He laughed, then winced at the pain it caused. I deserved that, he said. Yes, I agreed. You did. But for the first time in decades, I felt the tight knot of resentment inside me begin to loosen. Not dissolve, it was too deep for that, but loosen enough to allow something else to grow alongside it. Something that felt, unexpectedly, like hope. 6 weeks later. Through the observation window, I watched Lily guide Tyler through a series of precise movements derived from ballet. Her hands supported his injured shoulder with expert care. Extend, hold, now rotate slowly, that's it. Tyler's face showed concentration rather than pain, a remarkable improvement from when we'd started. She's remarkable, my mother said, appearing beside me. I never imagined that ballet could be so effective for pain. I should have spoken up, she added suddenly. When your father dismissed your dancing. When he did the same to Lily. She shook her head. I chose peace over justice so many times. Inside the therapy room, Tyler attempted the movement Lily had demonstrated. His execution was clumsy compared to hers, but his shoulder held steady. That's perfect. Lily encouraged. Your body is remembering how to move properly. It doesn't hurt, Tyler said, sounding surprised. For the first time in months, it doesn't hurt. That Sunday, we stood on my parents' doorstep, the same door we'd walked out of a decade ago, vowing never to return. Lily clutched her dish, her knuckles white. We can still cancel, I whispered. She shook her head. Tyler is doing the work to heal his body. Maybe it's time we all did the work to heal everything else. The door opened. My father stood there, thinner than he'd been in the hospital. He looked nervous, a look I had never seen on my father's face. You came, he said simply. As dessert was served, my father cleared his throat. The table fell silent. I've been doing a lot of thinking, he began. About mistakes I've made. He looked around the table. I was raised to believe there was one path to success. One definition of what mattered. He turned to me. When you wanted to dance, Irene, I thought I was protecting you from disappointment, but really, I was just too narrow-minded to understand something outside my experience. When Lily came along with that same passion for ballet, I made the same mistake again. Worse, I created an environment where one grandchild was celebrated and another was diminished. He looked at Tyler. My grandson, I don't mean to imply that you are not worthy of praise. I know, Grandpa, Tyler said quietly. But so is Lily's. My father nodded. So is Lily's. I see that now. He turned to my daughter. What you've done with your art, how you've combined it with science to help others, including Tyler, it's remarkable. I'm not just proud, I'm humbled. I don't expect forgiveness overnight, he continued, voice breaking. But I hope we can be a family again. A better family than before. I'd like that, Lily said softly. But things have to be different. They will be, my mother promised. 3 months later. We gathered at the stadium for Tyler's first game back after his injury. My father, despite his own health challenges, insisted on attending. I wouldn't miss it, he said. Besides, it's not just Tyler's victory. It's Lily's too. After the game, Tyler sought us out, still in his uniform, sweaty but beaming. He hugged Lily first. Did you see that? He asked. No pain. Not even a twinge. Your form was perfect, she told him. As reporters approached, Tyler took Lily's arm. Come on, cuz. They need to interview the real MVP, my physical therapist. I watched as my daughter, once dismissed as wasting her time with dance, explained to sports journalists how ballet principles had saved an NFL quarterback's career. Beside me, my father wiped a tear from his eye. I was so wrong, he whispered. About so many things. My mother took his hand, then reached for mine. We all were, in different ways. But look at them now. As we left the stadium, Lily fell into step beside me. Do you ever regret it? I asked her. Walking away all those years ago? She considered the question. No, she said finally. We needed to leave to become who we are now. And they needed us to leave to recognize what they'd lost. She smiled, the confident smile of a woman who had transformed rejection into triumph, hurt into healing. Sometimes the most beautiful choreography includes walking off stage, before the perfect moment to return.